Hey guys, in this video project, I'm going to show you guys how to make this clay beaded garland. It has an aged stone appearance and it'll add texture, interest, and character to any part of your home that might need a little bit of sprucing up. If you'd like to know how to achieve this wonderful garland, continue watching and I'll show you how. So when getting your clay, you can get air dry clay. I've just poked holes through my ball. So I'm going to make a couple of these balls, try to get them to be as round as you would like them. They don't need to be perfect because that's the whole beauty of clay projects. I did also trim down my nails so that I wouldn't make any lines or cracks or holes in my clay art. I also had to take off my wedding ring. So I did use the end of a brush to make the hole big enough for when I stick my twine through. And eventually I'm going to make at least 16 of these, however long you would like your strand of beads to be. And then it's going to take at least 3 days to completely dry before we start doing the rest of the project. So here is the air dry clay. You guys want to make it the size. So air dry clay does dry to shrink because it's hydrated clay basically. And so when it dries completely, it will turn completely white and it will shrink in size. So you might want to make your balls a lot bigger. Some people like to make it like golf ball size. I think this size is perfect. It fits right into my palm. So make it whatever size you would like your clay balls to be. So when you guys are putting you can use a pencil. I use the end of a brush. I hold the ball in the palm of my hand, and to get your end in there nicely, you want to do like a twist motion, okay? And when you pull it back out, use a twisting motion. So once you've removed it, you should have a nice perfect hole in the middle. And when you have the hole in the middle, you want to sort of lightly reshape the ball so that it's sort of round. And it's okay if you guys make the hole a little bit bigger. The reason you want to make the hole a little bit bigger, as I said, this hydrated air dry clay will shrink. So you don't want your hole to shrink so much that you can't stick your twine through it. And then that's it. So when working with air dry clay, you want to make sure the rest of your clay is kept moist and covered and out of the air. What I'm doing right now is I'm just kneading my clay to make it nice and warm and soft in my hands before I roll it into a ball. You really want to squeeze all that air in the middle out of the clay. So you can see it's just a piece of clay that I've been kneading, making it warm with my hands. And so as you can see, I've already kneaded this one. It's come out pretty round. It's nice and smooth. So what I like to do is go over my board. Be careful not to get any of the dry clay pieces into your piece, otherwise it will show up in there. So clean off your surface each time. So I finished making my air dry clay balls. I made 15 of them, or was that 14? No, that's 14. I made 14 of them. I was gonna make 16, but I've decided I didn't want my string of beads to be that long. So I'm gonna stick to this and I'm gonna let them dry. I think I'm gonna let them dry for 3 days. Sometimes air dry clay can be very moist inside still, and I don't want to risk them cracking. I did use a little bit of water to smooth out the edges, and I do have a tip. During the time of doing this, what I did was I dipped my actual stick into water, and then I went through each hole again to make sure it just slides right through and to smooth out any edges. So I do recommend that for this project. All right, so I just got back. I spray painted all of the clay balls with a Rust-Oleum American Accent spray. It's a satin finish. You can do gloss, matte, satin, whichever one you like. I really like a satin finish to mine. It's in the color London Gray. It has more of a brown tint to it, like a brown kind of hue. I thought it turned out really great. I didn't completely spray paint the entire clay ball because I wanted it to still have that kind of faded look. I also did on aluminum foil because I was thinking to myself how much I would love to just crinkle it up and throw it away, but it left some really neat patterns on here. I didn't let it completely dry, and I basically just folded them all up inside of it, brought it back in the house because it was windy outside, and it left a really neat imprint. I am gonna take my sponge and fade out the outside with some of the other paints I have here. I do have an acrylic paint. This one's in the color tan. It's by Craft Smart. You can really choose any colors you want. I did pick up a chalk paint. I really love this one. It's so pretty. This one is called French Linen. Chalk paints are like matte, chalky finishes. This one's porcelain. And now I'm going to just go ahead and start adding some to the project. So here's the next part. I'm gonna use this type of sponge. And what I wanna do is give you guys a different kind of view of watching the video so that you guys can see exactly what I'm doing. I really like these kind of coral sponges because they've got great neat designs and patterns on them. Then this was the closest thing I could find to the other project that I watched. Hers came out so beautiful, so we'll see how mine comes out. I think I'm gonna start off with the darker colors and work my way up. Usually you wanna work from light to dark, but I'd like to sort of work from dark to light since I've sprayed the balls with a much darker kind of color. So I just grabbed a little bit of paint and I'm just gonna kind of sponge it on there. And there might be too much on here, so I'm going to sponge it here first. Just kind of cover up my ball a little bit. You guys are going to get this great Pottery Barn dupe. Honestly, I had so much fun molding and kneading the clay in my hands. So this is kind of what it looks like. As you can tell the difference. Gives it a nice dry matte look with the chalk paint, which is really, really pretty. Okay. Honestly, if you get too much paint on there, like I did, just dab it on a flat surface so that you can kind of, and you don't really have to cover it up, just skip around. You can put more in sections of it and less in others. You can add as much as you'd like, as little as you'd like, make it more faded looking. It really builds character on your balls. Look at that. It's really nice. Look how much character they have now. So that is a total of 3 different colors of paint, including the spray paint, which is the base coat. And that really, I think, is what separates the colors and gives a lot of depth to when you're ready to start adding your chalk paint. The more depth you have on the balls, the more you can truly see like the variations of color. You can really do any design you want. You can make it more blended and faded looking, or you can make it more of bold kind of paint lines. It's really up to you guys. See how this one with the first layers of paint, they're very faded and blended versus these ones that have a lot more character. All right, so now that I'm done painting all of them, they looked so good. Like, look how terrific they look. I'm going to take them back outside. I'm gonna spray them with a clear acrylic sealer. This sealer has a matte finish, although I'm not sure how I feel about this brand because I have tried this on some of the clay earrings that I have made to seal in the paint. And it still has a slight kind of gloss glow to it. I don't know. It's not glossy, but it's also not matte. It's a little less than satin, so I don't really know how I feel about this brand. That's just my opinion. But that's what I have, and I've already purchased it. I don't want to waste it, so I'm going to take all of my clay balls and go and spray them. And then afterwards, we shall twine them up and put it on a string. I already have my needle. Let me show you guys. I got this plastic threader. I'm not sure what size it is, but if you go to Hobby Lobby or Michael's, you can go to the yarn section and you can pick up the same one. It's got a nice big loop fish hole here. The fish eye, you can just string it right across. I'm just going to do 2 layers in between mine because I didn't really make the balls that, like the whole inside of it, that big. So we'll thread those after I spray them. Alright you guys, here's the final project. I hope that you have enjoyed watching the video. It was easy to follow along, and I can't wait to see what you all recreate, whether you use the same colors, different kind of material, but we can all achieve the same outcome that's just as beautiful. So share with me in the comments down below, or ask me questions if you have any, and I can't wait to share another project with you all. Thank you. Bye guys.